Hello, everybody. Namaste. Welcome. Oh my God, there are so many people. Oh, Education Club, Ravi Verma. There are some people from Italy also. Pratik Kaushik, Vasudev Chauhan, Ayush. So now we have created a great family. Lot of somebody from Rome. I can't pronounce the name anyway. So welcome to the Future of Life Festival. As you know, today is a weekend bonanza because today we have two great personalities. These days, everybody talks about India, the power of India, India's place in the world. We talk about our civilization. We are arguing, fighting, conflicting. There are lots of things are going on when it comes to India, its strengths, India's values, and promoting India as a soft power. So I got a video, and there was a hippie, and he was singing an Italian anthem. I don't know why. Because I know him for many years. And this man actually single handedly changed the entire ecosystem and has created an ecosystem of influencers, intellectuals, writers, authors, creative people, filmmakers like me. And he created something called Indic Academy. But in lockdown, maybe something's gone wrong. Everybody is stressed and there's a lot of anxiety. And he's been singing Italian anthems. So I don't know why. Why? Oh my God. What is this hippie look, Mr. Hari Kiran?
Una mattina mi son svegliato. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Una
Yeah.
mattina mi son svegliato e ho trovato l'invaso. Oh partigiano, portami via. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Oh partigiano, portami via. E ho trovato l'invaso. Thank you.
Oh
Thank you.
my God. This has gone viral. But then you also said something after this song. What is the relevance of singing Italian anthem? I thought you are singing it because of Mrs. Sonia Gandhi in the news, though we are not talking politics at all. But I thought you sang it because it's trending everywhere. And you thought, is that the reason because it was trending the Italy and all?
Actually, just a coincidence. So I was binge watching Money Heist, as everybody is binge watching Netflix these days. I was binge watching Money Heist, and that song struck me. It's a beautiful melody. It struck me. Then I was just understanding the background of that song, and I realized that it was a song during the World War One by the peasants against fascism, right? So then, it just fascinated me, and I said, "Wow," because when you talk about fascism, we have to come to India and we have to talk about we are living in a fascist society as far as some people are concerned. So I said, "Wow, let me understand. Let me learn this song as a because certain people see fascism everywhere. We don't see fascism. So I'm just trying to figure out. So I said, let me learn this song. So I went to Apprentice and got a Italian singer. She's in Venice. So I started learning that song. And then, of course, it so happened coincidentally that the 75th anniversary of the Italian Liberation Day happened, and everybody was in their balconies singing this song. But for me, this, while it is nice to learn about a song which is anti-fascist and just to learn that, for me, one important thing that was always troubling me in our narrative is that if you recall the recent conversations about the Constitution, and everybody is talking about the preamble to the Constitution and the values in the Constitution and liberty, equality, justice. So all these things were talked about. But generally speaking, fraternity is not talked about. And I dealt with fraternity in one of the essays I wrote about dharmic liberalism about 4 years back. And I see in that word, it's a very powerful word, because I see a certain underlying things embedded in that word, Uh, uh, One is a love for your fellow citizens. So when you love people and love your geography, love the culture, then in a way there is a nationhood that's embedded in that word fraternity. This is my interpretation. And there's this big debate about what is nationalist, anti-nationalist. There's a whole thing going on out there. But when I see that this is a value actually in the preamble of the Constitution and people don't talk about it, whereas I interpret it as love for your country, love for your culture, and I'm not sure why people don't talk about it. So I thought that, look, let me learn this song and record this song and say, okay, we're talking too much about fascism. And from fascism, we talked about the preamble to the Constitution, preamble to only the three values. Why don't we talk about the fourth value? So I just basically want to bring forth this concept of fraternity and whatever each of us understand it of that word. I'm just asking all friends, I'm going to ask you also to dig deeper into this word. This word actually, I believe, came into the Constitution because of Aurobindo. So he has written a lot
Yeah,
about fraternity.
yeah, yeah.
So I'm reaching out to quite a few of my friends to say that, look, let's sort of talk about this a little more. And in fact, I reached out to Jaggi also and said maybe you should do a special issue on fraternity. So that's the background.
Superb. It's very inspiring. Already, so many people are loving what you are saying, and just I always believed in that. People call it ecosystem and by different names, you know. And I think when it comes to a nation like India, fraternity is a very very important thing, and that's why, just Hari, if you don't know, just a thought came. I was talking to another creative person, Anupam Kher, and we said we are always talking about family, friends, and while the world is talking about politics and everything, it's not going to take us anywhere. So I said, why don't we celebrate life? And so, in an instant of a movement, instinctively, without no plans, nothing, you know, we started this future of life. I have no paints left at home. I have no brushes. I have one old canvas. So I painted on top of that painting, you know. So I created this. And slowly, when we started, I said,
Fantastic.
who's going to listen to these people besides Anupam Kher? Okay, he's a star, but who's going to listen to other people? You will be surprised that we are full of, I mean, I just can't tell you so much of love every evening. And now I know people by name, and hundreds of people come every day and they listen to it, and they are also diffusing. So for me personally, before I we learn your thoughts, which we will over the period of 1 hour, what I have learned, I want to put it on table, because today we have coming almost to a close of this. You know, tomorrow is the last day, but people are saying continue. So I might have one more weekend next, because lockdown has also increased. What I have learned is that if you talk sense, people are willing to listen to a lot of sense. If you talk rubbish, then people are willing to listen to rubbish. You know, so it depends what you talk, what you discuss. And we have been able to create this sort of a family. I believe that today I wrote about it, that the knowledge diffusion. Okay. In most of the Western world, there is knowledge transfer, which means you do an innovation, you have technology, you transfer it to somebody else. So know-how keeps, but knowledge diffusion, which was in our Gurukul system, which was from Guru to Shishir, one family to another, one generation to another, which Japan has preserved a lot. But somewhere we failed in that. We stopped somewhere because I don't know why. You came into the scene and you started this again. You have initiated so many dialogues, so many discussions, so many discourses. You have done festivals, you have got intellectuals meet and whole lot of things. People who don't know, I was never set out to write urban excels. It was Mr. Hari Kiran who one day called me and said, Vivek, why don't you put your all your experiences in one book? I said, but I'm not an author, I'm a filmmaker. And he said, but all of us are storytellers, and in India, nobody does that. The problem, quote unquote, he told me, the so called right wing or the Indic people or people who believe in Hindu civilization, whatever you want to call it, do not write books, do not do research, and just good people with great ideas. So thanks a lot for that. What happened? What was the reason that it inspired you, motivated you to start this entire movement, Indic movement? First of all, why you call it Indic and not Hindu civilization or Indian civilization or Bharatiya Sabhyata? Second thing is, what inspired you? Please tell us in detail. It's a slow interview, These days, slow is fast.
Yeah, actually, my journey. So I have three dimensions to what I like to do. One is I have a philosophical bent of mind. Second is I have a creative proclivity, and the third is uh, acting as an enabler. That gives me a great joy. Uh, I mean, I aspire to be the world's best backroom boy in the world. I don't like to be in the front, but I like to enjoy. I enjoy myself being the background. That's why I'm not seen anywhere. So I like enabling people and helping people discover themselves. That gives me a great joy. And given my entrepreneurial background, I like to take risks. I like to make big bets, and I like to think big and think creatively. That's broadly my personality, succinctly putting it out there. So I started a philosophical thing called Advaita Academy way back in 2010. Then I started Creative India Academy for promoting our culture globally. That was in 2012. But what my journey during that time was, I was not so intellectually aware of the kind of attacks that are happening against civilization. I was not so clued into that. So I was just promoting. But then I realized slowly that most of our philosophical thought, for example, is what Rajiv says, it's digested and presented, and the roots are not acknowledged. So that really troubled me quite a lot, saying, what is this? And then I understood, even from when I was promoting Creative India, that when we present our culture globally in the contemporary scene without losing its grammar, there are enough audiences to consume our culture without losing our authenticity. Then I started Indic Academy in 2015. So it was a backward kind of going back to the. So first was Advaita, then Creative India, and then going back to Indic Academy. That was started primarily to address the issue of correcting or presenting our culture in a proper way, and also preserving our culture. So the way I look at Indic Academy is, like I often say, that I, uh, I put on a one-eyed mask to focus sharply, put on blinkers, and then put on a cube on my head. And that cube has three dimensions, which is basically, I like to think of this whole thing as preserving, protecting, and promoting. Right. So we have to think about all the three aspects. You have to think about preserving our Veda Patashalas. You have to think of preserving our Shastras. You have to think of all the arts and culture preservation. Then you have to protect it, because people are all the time distorting our identity, stealing from us, and distorting and saying this doesn't belong to them, whatever theories that they can come up with. There's a whole host of research done on that. So you need to protect. Finally, you also need to promote, and that's the virtual cycle of preservation, protection, promotion. So whenever I think of anything, I think of it in simultaneously in these three aspects. Right now, I also think of it as, like I said, intellectual, cultural, and spiritual. So my journey started with spirituality, right? Then Creative India, which is the cultural aspect, then intellectual aspect. So intellectual, cultural, and spiritual, all the three aspects have to be thought about. The reason is our culture is very unique, that you have a thought, in a Vedic thought, for example, on mudras, right? Now that translates into a dance. Mudra can be Dakshinamurti Mudra. He's teaching Vedanta with a mudra, right? In silence with the mudra, he's teaching Vedanta. The same mudra, again, you find it in a dance form, you find it in health, in yoga, and you find it in spirituality. So if you see every aspect of a culture, you can see traversing from the intellectual part to the spiritual part. It's very unique. If you think about it, every aspect, right? So you Kalankari, for example, so they do the Ramayana there. Now, if there is conversions happening in Shirala, or then they said, please don't do these images, right? So you need to protect it at the craft level. But that source is the scriptures. And then it goes on in the dance form. So everything about a culture is intellectual, cultural, and spiritual. So you have to think about preserving, protecting, promoting intellectual, cultural, and spiritual. And the third dimension is this I get from the McKinsey framework of the 3 horizon framework, which is near term, medium term, long term. This is very important because the immediacy of any challenge and phase is there, and any problem is there. But if you don't think in 3 buckets, if you don't think about what is the immediate problem, what's the medium term, what's the long term, then our ability to address this issue in a comprehensive manner doesn't happen. So that's why I say I put on a cube on, I live in a cube, thinking on all these dimensions of preservation, protection, promotion, near-term, medium-term, long-term, intellectual, cultural, and spiritual. And that multi-dimensional strategy has evolved because of my journey from spirituality to culture to the intellectual aspect. That's a very, very important thing. And that has, so there are a lot of my friends who specialize in one particular area, right? In a particular thing, you can specialize in, preservation of Veda Pathshalas, for example. So they're in the preservation, and in preservation, they're in one bucket. So some of my friends are digitizing manuscripts. So they're in preservation, right? So some people are in the promotion, and they're doing outgrowing global and promoting a culture globally, right? So if you now think about it and think about everything in this dimension, then this is, in fact, the chart that I shared with you and which is available on our site called At a Glance, if you click on it, that happened today. I didn't set out to do that. It became a painting. It became a beautiful mandala. It became a beautiful architecture because of constantly going out and doing things, and it just evolved. So that is the thing. To answer your second question, the word Hindu, I've answered this earlier. The word Hindu is equated right now, right? And equated with, on a comparative basis, with other theologies, so other religions. So they have a certain component, and Hinduism also is treated on that basis. So there's a limitation as a contraction in the way when I say Hindu, you would only think about that as something going to the temple and the prayers and that kind of thing. So over a period of time, the meaning has compressed. Whereas when I talk about Indic, and why I called it Indic, is that the issue is not about a religious thing alone. The issue is about the Indic knowledge systems. So if I say astronomy, for example, if I say mathematics, for example, or if I say our agriculture systems, you won't think of it as a Hindu thing, right? So my thing is not to argue on the terminology, the broader, because you have to communicate to some people today, here and now, and you have to reach out to here and now. So the way I call, and the reason I call this Indic is because I'm not talking about a temple, scripture, rituals. That's definition I have not given. That's definition that's common today. I'm talking about Indic, which is slightly higher. It covers all these things. It covers the Indic knowledge systems, covers everything, the gamut, right? Ayurveda, all these things. For example, yoga. Our vice president, for example, he says yoga is not Hindu. So I'm not going to argue with him, because if you have that situation, you can't do that. But when I talk about yoga, when I talk about Ayurveda, our entire focus is to bring back authenticity. Right? So when everything that we think of at Indic Academy has to be a product, right? Has to be a service, has to be an experience. This is very, very important. So you have to think of the customer and think of whatever knowledge that you are trying to preserve, protect, or promote has to be these three things. It has to be a product, it has to be a service, or it has to be an experience. These three. What are the attributes for that? The attributes for that are, they have to be authentic. Right? Authenticity is very important. Then it has to be immersive. And the third is, it has to be transformational. So if you apply these three attributes, these three qualities to any of these three things, which is a product, service, or an experience, then automatically you would have to ask these kind of questions. Because in every facet of these things, it is all from our Vedic civilization, everything that's coming from there. So this is, see, it's very important that when we are, whoever is listening, and if you are an activist, and if you are thinking of serving your dharma, you have to think of who is your customer. This is customer centricness has to be there. Who are you talking to? What is the messaging? So if you don't have that clarity, then you're just running all around. So you have to have, for example, my primary customers are the global millennials and the Indian younger generation as a primary focus, right? That's my customer base. So I have to talk to them. Of course, I have products, especially because I believe all the retired people, for example, who are 60 plus, right? At 60, you retire, and you're active till 75, 80. What do you do? So that's a huge market out there that needs to be tapped and brought into the service of a dharma. That's one segment, right? Empty nesters, housewives whose children have gone away and they are looking to do something. That's a huge market. So you have to segment your customers and say that, okay, this is one market, this is one market, this is one market. What do I do? How do I talk to them? That's very important, customer focus.
Super, wonderful. And since you said unique idea, so I want to confess something here. I've never told anybody, I was making certain kind of films, and all of us, anybody in India who wants to be a filmmaker, generally they are influenced by the Western style of filmmaking. And I made films like that. I never realized that no, you can't do that. You can't have wine on camera. I know. Okay, so this is very interesting. I never told you also, Hari, but I think there are a lot of young people who are into filmmaking and all. So I forgot that we are the creators of Natya Shastra. How to present drama, the science, and Natya Shastra. I also knew, like everybody says, oh, we are so proud we created Natya Shastra, but nobody studies Natya Shastra. So when I was doing Buddha in a traffic jam, so I don't know how I opened some pages and read about it. And what I realized that Natya Shastra is about how to do makeup, how to do hair, how the stage should be there, distances, foreground, midground, background, lighting, the whole science is there. So that is one thing which West has taken and West has picked that up better than us. I think they really worked on it. But there's one thing which everybody ignored, which is that he took all these motifs, the metaphors from his kitchen. The entire Natya Shastra came from his kitchen because he used to cook and everything was there. For example, let's look at it. The first thing, if you are going to do it, you need characters. So in Natya Shastra, they are called Patra. Patra is not a translation of character. Patra means a container in which you contain few things, So like you look in your kitchen, this is my interpretation. If you look in the kitchen, there's a patra for rice, patra for dal, patra for gehu, patra for achar. So you can identify these are the traits and the quality, and he picked it up from there. Then the another thing is rang. The rang means so again he picked it up from kitchen. All these colors, nowhere else in the world you call different shades of storytelling as rang. Only in India we call it that. Then he said ras, the juice. Now, where you go to TED Talk so often, I go to Hollywood. I have never heard any creative person ever saying that what is the juice of this character? What is the juice of the scene? Nobody says that. People say, what is the emotion? So it should have been bhavna. What is the bhavna? But he said ras means lemon ka ras. Everything has a different juice quality. And then he said the context. So patra, rang, ras, and and the rang, the color, the context. So like if you are black, it's a different context. What I'm saying is that most of these art forms in India are picked up from life, right?
Yes.
And without knowing, there was science in it and they became science. So the problem with our system has been like Gurukul system. There is definitely a method, there's a science, there's a process, and everything you can put on a chart and you can make PPTs and define it. But nobody translated these things. My understanding is because you said cultural, intellectual, and what activism and politics.
Spiritual,
I'm
yeah.
talking spiritual. Sorry, I'm talking purely. I'm a cultural man trying to move towards the spiritual side. I was very intellectual as long as I was on the leftist side of the game. I was very very intellectual, but now I hate that term for different reasons. So what I'm saying is you have done a great job picking up different people. I saw in one of the festivals, you got one homosexual guy who presented dance, and it brought so much enlightening. So many people you have introduced into an Indic Academy sphere are handpicked people, which nobody has done before. How government works is they have a quota, they have a list which is sent by state departments, collectors, and commissioners. Oh, I have to please this. I've got so many people from my party, so put 3 people from other party. That is a rotten system. You picked up people like me and so many other people, hundreds of them, and everybody is doing good work. And the reason I align with you is because I personally believe, and I tell everybody, I'm going to tell everybody now, if you really want to succeed, you have to have products. You can't just keep talking and criticizing on social media without any product. I create 2-3 products a year, and therefore I think I deserve to criticize people on social media and attack urban access. So what is it? How do you pick up people? Tell us more in detail what goes in the back room, in your back room, the war all of us are fighting. What do you do? Please tell more about the Hari Kiran, the backroom boy.
I actually, I think, see, I think Indic Academy is something whose uh, timing is perfect. So you can have an idea much ahead of your time, and then idea won't take off, right? Like Steve Jobs had, next before, right? So you have these things of being at the right place at the right time. I think India and our civilization at this point in time, I'm not talking about the politics of who is in power and all that. I'm just saying it's just 70 years since our independence, and there is the 2-3 generations that have gone, and there is a sense of desire to connect back to our roots. My father was connected. I was half connected. My son is not connected. I'm in general scheme. Now I'm making sure in general scheme. So my father is born 1929. I'm 63. My son is born 96. So you said 3 generations, right? So I would call what the West calls as Gen X, right? So the Gen X and the baby boomers are really earning to connect back. This is a very, very big thing. The second thing that has happened is because of the globalization that happened from 92, all the people, the entire middle class went into engineering, chartered accountancy, medicine. They went into that. And there was completely, the field of humanities was just vacant, right? It just, no wonder certain people have taken all that. But because we were wanting that material success, material desire to grow and improve our lifestyle from 92 onwards, everybody, for example, I come from Andhra and Hyderabad, everybody, people, there's a person who teaches maths tuitions for IIT, right? And people, my friends who were living in Jubilee Hills, they were moving to the place Nalakota where he was there, so that his children can get up in the morning at 4 o'clock and become engineers. So that's a very big trend of engineers from 90s and 2000, 2010, who didn't, their Swadharma, their Vasanas, they didn't necessarily wanted to be engineers, but they were forced because of their situation that they were in. Now that, I don't know, maybe 50 to 100 million people like that all over India, in Infosys and all the software companies, Silicon Valley, all the Hindu right or whatever you call, all of them are having this particular thing that they are now looking for meaning. They are 35 years old, they're engineers, they are now saying, hey, what am I doing? I want to learn Sanskrit. I want to understand more about my past. I want to learn spirituality. That's what's happening. Now, that is what we are tapping into. And therefore, what we are trying to do is trying to, and that's why I say the timing is right. Now, it's just when you know, like how did there are several things why things are successful, right? So one success leads to the other. For example, I called you for writing a book, right? And I was just meditating at 4 o'clock in the morning, and then I got this idea, why don't I write this book, right? And I sent you 4 books and say, read these books, and say, I want you like. Now, yours is like a blockbuster. Yours is like Sholay, for example. Urban Excels, Indian Academy being behind is like Ramesh Sippy's Sholay, right? So it's like once in a lifetime kind of a thing. Wow. Now I can die peacefully because I created Urban Excel. So I was behind Urban, right? So it's just like that. But your success opens up new people, new doors, and that's the thing. So everything that happens is that one thing leads to the other, right? And the other thing I've learned is that I apply the principles of design thinking, right? Design thinking has got 2 elements, there are 5 elements, but there are 2 important elements. One is customer empathy, which I talked about. The other is rapid prototyping. So you don't wait for a full product to happen and all that. I get an idea tomorrow morning, it's on Indic today, I'm announcing it. I get the feedback, and then I refine it, right? So what happens is that idea to implementation is not too much. And therefore, when you experiment more, then you meet more people, you are experimenting with more people, and then the whole thing opens up. So there are preconceived notions I have about any person. So I'm basically looking at, if you see my the selfless self, if you see that thing, I'm saying first discover yourself, discover your Swadharma. Before you thinking of serving your Dharma, discover yourself. What are you meant to do, right? What Dharma wants, is one aspect. So if you go back to the Ikigai, four intersections, right? Your aptitude, what your skills are, what you're paid for, what the world wants, that four things which is popular. The same thing you apply. So, like for example, Yogini is there. She likes to, post commentaries. So Indic Today is born. Dimple, she loves encouraging people. So you have the Center for Indic Writers and all that she has done. Abhinav loves books. So you have Indic books. And I have the Soumya for iGen Plus. So everything as a platform is just an incubation center. So you have to incubate hundreds of ideas and hundreds of people. And that's how things happen. And if you apply the McKinsey framework of breaking down a person's personality into three categories. Right? You can be a thinker. Ideas man. You can be an organizer, 100 best organizer in the world, or you can be a communicator, a relationship guy, right? Like you or Shafali, or you are a communicator, you're articulate, right? So not everybody has all these three qualities. There are some people who are only good in ideas, they're not good in communication, they're not good in organizing. So okay, if you discover that and give him that work, he's going to excel. And there's somebody who is very good in marketing, in communication, in relationships management, right? You'll see a lot of your friends who will wish you, who will be in touch with you. All that is relationship management, right? And communication. So that's one strength. And there'll be a lot of silent workers who are there, who are not in the front, but if you ask them to deliver something, they deliver.
Yeah.
So I immediately think, when I meet somebody, I think of and saying that which bucket does he fall into? How many does he is he capable of organizing, or is he ideas man, or then automatically you nurture that aspect. Right? So that's the thing. You have to keep experimenting. You have to think of design thinking, rapid prototyping, recognizing individual strengths, and then enabling them. That's it.
No, that's brilliant, And see, the thing is, before this, I have also spent a lot of time in this, but before this, I never saw anybody who brought in such systems into, organizing the entire ecosystem. And if you see, if you are talking about Indic civilization or Indic Renaissance, you cannot talk about it without discussing a little bit of politics, And I don't want to get into mainstream popular politics, I just want to keep it away. But if you see, politics has always been a part of Indian intellectual discourse. Right from, if you see Shiva, Brahma, if all these metaphorical things, if you look at it, it's always been at the center of it. Krishna, Mahabharata, or if you look at Ramayana, the popular stories we have heard, Chanakya, so which means that dharma, these days everybody thinks dharma means docile, passive, anybody can, that's how it was told to us during a British period. But you have brought that warriorship, but in a very different way. Now, the third thing which I want to discuss with you is, since you are such a creative person, and now you have also, lockdown has done a lot of good to you, and you are turning to be a hippie. And it was always my dream that all these right-wing people or Indic people or people who are rooted in Indian soil, there is no need just to stereotype them into a certain look, So I like this. In fact, I was also planning to, the reason I'm wearing this hat is because my hair has gone haywire. So what I'm saying is, Shri Aurobindo thought about Indic Renaissance. And I am also great, I mean, all my effort is towards that. I have lived the first part of my social interaction, which was writing urban nexus, creating a political storm and identifying them. My next book is coming now, Who Killed Shastri, which is about why we lost 1962 war and why emergency came. So all the politics behind that. But now, inspired from you, what I'm doing for last few months, and more aggressively, you'll see me doing it from Monday. Now I'm promoting all the people who I think have a potential to be creative. And people think creativity means singing, dancing, and painting, which is absolutely rubbish, came from West Side to us. So I'm going into, but this Indic Renaissance, I personally believe that India has deteriorated because previous governments or even the current government has not done great stuff on that front. We absolutely, why do we have a culture department? Why do we need a culture ministry of culture? What does it do? I mean, it behaves worse than Ministry of Agriculture. It doesn't do anything except for sending few folk dancers to Europe and to different embassies. A, do we need Indic Renaissance? Second, like Sri Aurobindo visualized. And B, if we do that, how it is going to happen? Art, literature, culture. In lockdown, people are realizing these are the soul of a society. I've been writing it. If you have seen my tweets, I write it every third day that art, literature, and culture is the soul of a society. And we are deliberately killing it day by day, day by day, day by day. Tell me, what's your vision?
Well, I I'm deeply, I mean, I'm convinced, like a crazy person, that we are going to be a soft superpower. We are right now on the index. We are, maybe 35 or something like that. But I foresee that in 10 years' time we will be in the top three. That's my strong belief. There's several reasons for that. We must understand what's happening around the world, right? And why do we think that we are the right people out there? What so if you understand the millennial audience and what are the traits, and if you understand what are the traits that they're looking at, and you had a very developed kind of an environment, and the millennials are that post developed. They have grown in the new world, right? And what are the qualities that they are looking at? They are looking at sustainability as a very important element, because of all environment issues that have happened. So sustainability is a very, very important quality that that the world is looking at. I come from a finance and investment background. I can tell you that, for example, the world's largest ETF, right? Uh, I think, largest ETF. He wrote a mail to all the CEOs and sort of warned them, saying that, guys, if you don't have sustainable practices, we're not going to invest in your companies. Sort of, that's the kind of warning. And I was talking to a banker in Europe, and he was saying that, look, it is now next to impossible to finance any business in the world, foreign banking, any business in the world which has environmental issues. So you can't set up a coal-based power plant. You can't do oil financing. All these things, there's just no way that the financing will happen. So you will see there's a big trend towards investors not investing in companies that are not having sustainable practices. That's a big trend. And then you have the consumers, the millennial consumers, not consuming or having a pushback against large companies. So they don't like large companies anymore. So they will like to consume some things by which they save a village somewhere. So there is what is known as conscious capitalism that's happening, right? So the consumer and the financier, they both are wary of investing in companies that do anything unsustainable. It's a very, very important thing. This leads to the situation that small will be beautiful again, right? And the trend on craft is going to go very good. And where does craft come? What I wear, what I use in the house, what I apply on my body, what I eat. All these four things, right? All have to be craft. Think about it. It's a very, very it's a very important trend for us to understand. So
Yeah.
sustainability and products that are sustainable will lead to these 4 categories:
Hmm.
what I eat, what I wear, what I use in my house, right? These categories have to be made sustainably.
Hmm.
Now, we in the world are, we believe in that. We're the largest country with, I mean, such a wide variety of, all these categories. So you will see that a lot of family offices, investment thesis is going to be investing in sustainable ventures, right?
Hmm.
So this is one very big trend. Then the other important trend is health and wellness and meditation, spirituality, the well-being
Hmm.
aspect of it, right? Now tell me, which country in the world has this wisdom? It's us.
Hmm.
There's no other country that can offer Ayurveda, yoga, and Vedanta and other forms
Hmm.
of spirituality.
Hmm.
So that's the biggest thing. And
Yeah.
then inherently we are inclusive. So when it's a cliche now, but just in terms of peace,
Hmm.
because we are not predatory, we are not expansive, we are not exclusivist. Our thinking is not that. We are inherently inclusive. We're inherently
Hmm.
diverse, right?
Hmm.
That's our nature, and that's
Hmm.
what the world is looking for. So if you look at every website of every corporate, and everything is first is diversity and inclusion, right?
Hmm.
That's inherently us.
Hmm.
So these are all the larger trends
Hmm.
of peace, happiness, sustainability, wellness. These are the larger trends. And now, just for the sake of, uh, it's end of the day, you're talking about politics.
Hmm.
Politics is not going to do anything. I don't believe in politics is going to uh, change change our narrative.
Hmm.
Not only the fact that this government is less than enthusiastic about changing the narrative, I'm
Hmm.
putting it euphemistically, uh, but I don't think that's going to happen. So if you look at it from a perspective of there's an ideological, so if you look at it, I'm like a Vedantin talking about causal body, subtle body, and gross body. Just think of
Hmm.
it in the framework of that. And the gross body is the political aspect,
Hmm.
right? The subtle body is the economic, social narrative.
Hmm.
The causal body is the origin of the ideology, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
In
Yeah.
in, in the so causal body, subtle body, and gross body, right? The
Hmm.
gross body is an ideology of politics, right? The subtle body is only transactions.
Hmm.
These transactions are social transactions, cultural transactions, economic transactions.
Hmm.
That's what we call as narrative,
Hmm.
right? The causal body is you have ideologies which are exclusivist or predatory,
Hmm.
or you have ideologies which are the social justice warriors,
Hmm.
kind of, the Marxist ideology or the left liberal ideology or whatever that ideology. There's so many
Hmm.
names for that. So there's that ideology there, right?
Hmm.
And then our ideology, which is inclusive and diverse anyway. So we will not, our thing will not be through politics,
Hmm.
whereas these people will be through politics,
Hmm.
right? Tomorrow, Narendra Modi may come, may not come back. We don't know. Half the Hindus don't go and vote. He might not come back, right?
Hmm.
So the so-called vote, a Hindu united vote, can happen, need not happen. We don't know. We saw what happened in Delhi. So
Hmm.
we know that. So this doesn't happen. So the reason I'm explaining this is you must understand that only economic activities will bring back change in the narrative.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our narrative, our renaissance will happen because of economics,
Yeah.
not because of ideology.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is a
Even
very
in Europe,
important.
the same thing happened, with art. A lot of economics was, all the
Yes,
museums and the paintings and the music, everything had a lot of economics behind it. Yeah, I totally agree with you. In fact, whatever you said, Hari, is so wonderful. You are talking about sustainability, you are talking about environment, you're talking about all the things we use and everything. So yesterday we were talking to some thought leaders on Kashmir in US, and Mr. Rakesh Kaul, he's a great intellectual when it comes to Kashmiri literature, art, and knowledge. And he said wonderful thing. He said the world needs to move from father to mother now, post COVID. And he said so far we have been very masculine, macho, big industry, globalization, everything big, 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 and very powerful. Now we need to look at the feminine side of the nature and ourselves, and we should think little smaller, more concerned about. And my theory is, my model is that in globalization we have seen a world full of collaboration. Now it's time to move towards cooperation. Collaboration is like two big companies like Google can collaborate, like Geo and Facebook, they are collaborating with each other without caring about their own individual values. I don't know what Mr. Ambani feels about the world and the society. I don't know what Zuckerberg feels about it, whether they align or sync or not. Okay, and that's where I think the whole problem is, that people who do not even think the same thing or feel the same thing are been collaborating. That's why we don't know where this virus has come and where we are going to be. But when you start cooperating with everybody, and which is a very Indian concept, if you look at it, our whole philosophy is very cooperative. And just to give you one very simple example, is that we believe that knowledge does not have copyright. If I have learned something, then I should not be charging for it, because we understood that that village, that little society is going to run only when that we cooperate with each other about knowledge. We don't have to patent everything, and that's why we lost the game. You are bringing this change now. You are telling people, okay, make it a copyright, bring the IPR into it. It's very important if we have to survive in the modern world. So, oh my God, it's been 1 hour. So, in the end, what I want to understand from you, since you have done some amazing, and people who don't know, in fact, everybody knows those who don't know, um, Mr. Hari Kiran has done great work in presenting India as a soft power in the world. Of course, Mr. Modi has also contributed a lot. He talks about it, but Mr. Hari Kiran has brought Indian values, and he has got a model ready how to go about it, which I don't think anybody has done it. I have attended some government sponsored conferences on soft power, and I thought it was too bureaucratic. I didn't even understand what they were saying. What is soft power, and how we can present ourselves and take leadership in soft power beyond yoga and Ayurveda? I mean, whenever it comes to soft power, I've seen Indian politicians and bureaucrats only talk about Ayurveda and these things. I've never seen anybody talking about food, clothes, nothing. Today only I was reading, since now you've got a hippie beard, I can talk about it in public forum. Today I was reading that in Israel, they have started research on how to use cannabis to cure COVID-19. And they're investing a lot of money. I posted it on Twitter today, in a sarcastic manner, but I posted it. So what is this soft power? How you are going to help build this ecosystem around soft power? And we can end this session. What are the 3 or 4 fundamental Hindu or Indic or Indian values which the world must adopt to be successful post-COVID in a new world?
Yeah. Well, soft power, there is a definition by Joseph Nye, but basically it's an adoption of countries' values, countries' perception. So you have hard power, you have military power, you have economic power, and you have the soft power. You don't have to coerce somebody; they adopt it on their own volition, whatever your values are. So the values and your culture play a big role in soft power. At Indic Academy, first we started a center for soft power. So that's the first thing that we did. This is about 2 years now. This center, we look at it in terms of three buckets. One is analysis, one is advocacy, and one is awareness. So three elements to it. The awareness part, we have a software, we have a digital platform called softpowermag.com. That's we have launched it last year. So it's like any digital platform. So instead of spending some time on any other platform, please, I request all of you to please go to softpowermag.com. And over the last 1 year, we have interviewed and we are discovering Bharat through others' discovery of Bharat. So it's a beautiful platform. In fact, I think in a couple of years from now, it'll become more mainstream than what. And this is one aspect that we're doing. The second aspect is we have just started a company, and this is Indic Academy version 2. One of the things that we are doing is we have set up a not-for-profit company called NICE, Network of Indian Cultural Enterprises. Like I was saying, economics drive everything, right? So if you want to do a global renaissance and you know that the globe wants our culture, the timeless values of our culture, then we have to think about it from an economic point of view. So that's why Indic Academy will focus on the not-for-profit aspect. NICE will focus on investing in companies on a for-profit basis. So the NICE is one aspect. Then analysis, we have launching research scholarships on why is certain things happening. We're doing research, for example. The way we're looking at it is that everything's about big data, machine learning, AI, all these kind of elements. So in a couple of years' time, it would be an open thing that you will know every suburb-wise in the world how a culture is being consumed. That's the vision, right? So you can go to the website and see in Cape Town, in a suburb, how many Indian restaurants are there, how many yoga studios are there, either in teachers for Carnatic music, either teachers for Hindustani music, is a Bollywood studio, everything will be there, suburb-wise, district-wise kind of a thing. That will show you what is the impact of our culture across the verticals. So we broadly find not just yoga and things, so the several verticals, more than 11 verticals. One is the spiritual aspect. The spirituality itself is a vertical. We have yoga, we have Ayurveda, we have cuisine, right? We have films, we have language, we have literature, we have visual arts, performing arts, we have music. So these are all the verticals that we look at. So you think of it like a matrix. You have all the cities in the world and you have all these verticals, and you will know exactly each vertical, how much is that city, how much is that suburb consuming our culture. So just think about it that way. You can just wrap the whole globe, whole world, and then map and then see how our culture is being consumed. That's that's kind of an analysis that is possible. Is a cultural mapping of the world, right? And why that is important is that you will automatically know the potential demand for a particular vertical based on this data. And that's the idea, that you will understand, because I'm again going back to economics. So therefore, if somebody wants to set up a molecular restaurant in a posh suburb in Sydney, then they'll know that there's a demand because there are 3 Chinese that have come up. People are eating more molecular stuff, so there's an opportunity there, right? So that's the thing on analysis. But the most important thing that NICE is going to do is like I was mentioning, you heard of Angel Network, right? So you have angels, you have Indian Angel Network, you have Hyderabad Angels, you have Bangalore Angels, you have every city has Angel Network, which they invest in startups, right? So we are trying to create a network of NICE angels. Angels and NICE angels. The NICE angels would be people who invest in a Ayurveda-based restaurant in East in New York, right? And they want to invest in, right? So these companies and these businesses are not scalable businesses. They're not going to be a billion-dollar unicorn, or they're not going to scale. So they are small companies, micro enterprises, small, medium enterprises. So you need mentors, you need investors, and then you have entrepreneurs, right? So anything, if I want to set up a Bollywood dance studio in some place, then I don't have the money for the $250,000 deposit I have to pay. But I know somebody who's interested in dancing, some investor, some major investor, small business, it grows, right? So this idea is to create this network of angels who are interested in investing in cultural enterprises. That's the thing. So NICE has got 5 aspects that we are doing, and that's the focus. It is one, first and foremost, world over, one of the big trends that I didn't tell you, we need a few more minutes. The big trend that is there, not only on culture, the bigger trend is what is known as creative economies. So you have you have a saturation of all the other things. So now creative class and creative economies are everybody's looking at that. So therefore now that kind of entrepreneurship has to be nurtured.
Yeah.
So we have to nurture cultural and creative entrepreneurs. So that's what NICE will be doing in terms of training and those aspects. Then those businesses, they need investors. So the angels will invest in those businesses, right? Then there will be a network. There's an ecosystem that we would be forming of all the people. So it's like NASSCOM. You heard of NASSCOM, you heard of CII, you heard of CE. So NICE is going to be the NASSCOM of culture.
Okay.
Simply put, it's going to be the CII of culture, right? So you have like a trade body. And then we will also have advocacy and policy and all that. So running after Shastri Bhavan and whatever not blocked or blocked, and say, please change this policy, please help us, that kind of thing. So NICE is a vehicle to revive our culture from an economic point of view. It's a not-for-profit, but it will invest in for-profit vehicles. It will nurture entrepreneurship. It will create a worldwide network of angels that will invest in these businesses. And it'll create this ecosystem and revive the global renaissance that is that I foresee requires this kind of an effort, and that's what NICE is going to do.
So wonderful! That's great, and I don't know, and I want to say it on public platform that a lot of people ask me in media interviews, okay, which star is your inspiration? Which film director is your inspiration? Everybody keeps asking me all this question. And if you see on YouTube, I always say, nobody inspires me. Only life and real people inspire me. And Hari, you have been inspiring me a lot, because what I wanted to do, since I'm not a great organizer, and yes, maybe I can be, but
you're a communicator.
Yeah, and I can visualize. You give me an idea. Yeah, or you give me an idea and I can visualize. If you tell me, okay, this has to be done, I can think a lot and put it on paper. But the school of creativity which I started, it was instinct. It was nothing, I didn't know. I have no business model. There is no money I'm asking anybody for, and I don't know where it will come. And my objective is not money. But one thing I understood, and I very strongly believe that after any global crisis, be it a world war or any kind of a war, lot of innovation takes place. And innovation is required in terms of lifestyle regulations. I mean, right now we need so many innovations in SOPs, standard operating procedures. If you have to shoot a film, how will you shoot it? You need innovative minds. And I realized that in India, because of scarcity, we have so much of ideas inspired from life. There's so many young boys and oops, what happened?
Yeah. I'm charging them. Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. So we have so many young boys and girls. Their basic problem is they're not presentable. They can't speak English. Maybe they're not well dressed. So I said, let School of Creativity identify them, pick them up, and at least tell them what creativity is. So we are doing a lot of work on creative consciousness. And after all, it's all consciousness. But creative consciousness is simply whatever you do with full awareness. And even if you're a carpenter, just bring quality, add value to it so that society can benefit and enrich from it. Because so far, the American model of globalization has been that all the profit should be mine and the cost should be on the earth, planet, or on the society or on the people. That's why you have Ganges so dirty. Everything, is we have ruined this earth. So I'm great. A lot of people are thinking like this. If in the end, if you have to create a new SOP or a model for the world, if this entire world you have to create a model, what are those 3 or 4 Indian principles or values which you'll write on the preamble and you'll say these should be must for every state in the world, every country in the world, every corporate in the world to follow? What are those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things? Just upna secular, socialist, and that kind of preamble. So write a preamble for the new world, Hari. Only you can do it. I've never asked this question to anyone else. Nobody else. If you can't do it, no one else can do it.
I am Hari, not Harari. So, so you're asking me to do a Harari. My name is Hari. No, actually, one of the things that will happen, and you're absolutely right, and I was just thinking about it. There are a couple of things that will happen. One is that there's a lot of the whole humanity has had chance to sit and reflect. Right? There'll be 2 things that happen actually. One is there'll be a creative outburst. There's innovation that's going to happen. There's no doubt about it. And then there is going to be an inner journey that a significant population is going to take. If you see the global population of 7 billion, there's a significant population of people who are doing yoga and who are meditating. So there's an inner journey that has started, right? Now that is now got time now to further reflect. So there would be an inward journey that will go in, and there is going to be a creative explanation. So the 2 components that will happen post-COVID will be these 2. Now people talk about globalization. There's already a pushback against China, right? One of the contradictions about the, when I put quotes, you know what I'm saying, is that is the liberal world value is that they made globalization as a value, right? But they made it as a value, but they were buying products from China. You see the inherent cognitive dissonance that is there, that's so much of dissonance that's there in the world, that actually I'm buying from a authoritarian country with no democratic values. I'm buying those products, I'm using the iPhone, I'm doing this, and I'm talking and tweeting about democratic values. Just see that dissonance that's there, right? This COVID, because Wuhan has it all happened from there. Now the day of reckoning has come for people who mouth values, who talk about liberal values. Please don't talk about liberal values on an iPhone manufactured there, right? This is not going to happen. This is not going to be sustainable anymore. So what would happen is that all the strategic manufacturing will shift to the respective countries. Right. So any strategic medicines, whatever it is, strategic manufacturing will no longer be offshored in China. The second thing is there will be diversification of manufacturing away from China to different countries. One of the things that will happen is that they will say the same thing I was talking about, the investors, right? The pressure from investors. They will say, boss, where are you buying your products from? Where are you getting your products manufactured? That country, does it have democratic values? What kind of values that country has? So the bigger trend that will happen now is globalization with values. What you saw last 30 years was globalization. Now you will see globalization with values.
Great.
And that's where we have a very important role to play. That's the challenge. It's not just, it's cheaper to manufacture here. It's, that's fine. Ultimately, it's not about. So there will be ways in which that people will say, I'm willing to pay a higher price because it's manufactured in a base where there are values.
Hmm. That's exactly what I was talking about. This China and America was a collaboration. Now we have to move towards cooperation. And cooperation is not possible if the values don't sync with each other. It's as simple as that.
That's the biggest thing. So it's going to be value driven. It's going to, which includes this aspects of sustainability, democracy, all those aspects. So it's value driven consumption or the conscious consumption. That's going to be very big. And the inward journey that's going to happen. There would be a whole host of people that would be set out on an inward journey, and that's where we should be rising to cater to that demand for people who can do see, for example, we are launching just a minute more, we are launching a yoga course, about yoga.
Yeah.
And you have this 100-hour 200-hour 500-hour, all that things are happening. Essentially, they're teaching you asana. That's it. So we have released a white paper to launch a Yogacharya program, wherein from Sanskritam to Sutra.
Okay.
So you have to learn Sanskritam, you have to learn the sutras, you have to learn a little bit of Ayurveda, you have to learn a little bit of the Upanishads and the Gita. You have to learn therapy, you have to learn asana, pranayama, meditation anyway, but you have to learn bhajans, you have to learn kirtans, chanting. So this is what a Yogacharya is required, and that is what is required, because you have enough number of people who are physically, doing all these calisthenics, but they're not transformed. There's no transformation that happens when you just do a physical thing. Yeah, it's good, but inner journey is the most crucial thing, and quite a significant population in the world will, or who's already on that path by doing this asana, pranayama, mindfulness, and all that, will now need these things, the inner transformation, the devotion, all those things will happen. So we are in a very good zone right now, both in terms of offering the sustainable products, which is the external consumption, and the inward. And we are surely going to be in the top 3 as a soft superpower. I'm convinced.
Great. Now, even I am convinced about it, and everybody I talk to is convinced about it. So when everybody is convinced about something, about an idea, no power in the world can stop it. I mean, this is, if we believe in real Hindu philosophy, the fundamental philosophy. See, I very rarely use the term called, I always say Indian philosophy. And I think Indian philosophy is greatest in the world. Greatest not in terms of hierarchical greatness, but greatness for yourself, because once you understand, and unfortunately in our schools and colleges, they teach everybody to do yoga, some asanas, which started just 200-300 years ago. Nobody teaches Patanjali yoga. If we teach every child from KG and make it as simple as Amar Chitra Katha, what Patanjali said, once you understand Patanjali, I think you have understood yourself and life. That is real yoga. So, but anyway, so thanks a lot for this, Hari. Pranam. You are like a guru to me. So, guru means these days, it's good to be a guru. So everybody wants to be a guru. But today,
we should connect on School of Creativity. We should connect on School of Creativity and NICE, because one of the objects is to nurture entrepreneurs and creative entrepreneurs. So we should launch a course, or we should do something.
Yeah, we'll do that. And
we are just launching a website in a few days. We have a principal, Arunima Gupta. She's joined us, so she's looking after it. So we are ready to go. In just after the lockdown, we'll launch it, and we create this network, and it's going to be great.
Yeah, sure. We'll do that. And my only principle now is, it's a motto I have made: Sada Jivan Uch Vichar. Simple living, high thinking. So I have no frills attached to me. So everything is sustainable, great ideas at almost negligible costs. So we'll do that. But dear friends, I must tell you, today is also Sita Jayanti. I mean, we have seen Ramayana and we have great respect and for Sita, and Sita also stands for so many dimensions and layers after layers. There's another dimension of Sita is also our finance minister is also Sita Ramanji, Nirmala Sita Ramanji, and all of us love Carnatic music. So Mr. Hari Kiran has composed wonderful lyrics on this day. So I want to end this program on a creative high. Why don't you sing? It's in Telugu or Tamil?
It's in Telugu.
Okay, so why don't you
But
just end up? And it's Mr. Hari Kiranji's tribute to Nirmala Sitaramanji and the Sita Devi, and translate it also.
No, it just so happened. It's just a coincidence that this happened this morning. That I just got this idea. There's a popular song by Bhakta Ramdas. "Ye Tiruga Nanu Daya Chuchadavu." He's singing the song to Rama, and I saw that and said, there's this discussion about the package, and our government has been less than courageous. I'm being very euphemistic. I don't know your audience, so it's been less than courageous, I would say, less than forthcoming to enhancing a package because they're worried about the rating and all those things. So I said, let me bless her by the song and use the same song. Instead of Rama, you should do Sita. Right? So I called my friend Arun in Singapore, and he wrote the lyrics. So it's I don't know. Should I sing now?
Yeah, please sing. Yeah, please sing.
Do we? One second. I'll just sing a little bit, but
oh, no problem. Just only the mukhra, the sign and cross in English is called the mukhra.
ఏ తీరుగమము దయచూచెదవో నిర్మల మానస సీతా మాతరమా భవ సాగర మీదను ఆర్థిక మంత్రిని సీత సిరి పెంపొందగా కప్పము కట్టెది శ్రితజన పోషక సీత కారుణ్యాలయ కష్టమెరుగు మీ ఎన్నిక మన్నిక సీత క్రూర కర్మములు వైరస్సు చేసిన భారము మాకా సీత. It's because of the virus. It's not my sin.
Yeah.
కర్మములు వైరసు చేసిన భారము మాకా సీత. Why am I paying a price for a virus? దారిద్రము పరిహారము చేయగ సాయము సేయవ సీత. వాసవి వనుత వ్యాపార జనహిత నమో నమో సీతా. దాసార్జిత మా కభయము సంగవే ప్యాకేజీ సీతా. ఏ తీరుగమము దయచూచెదవో నిర్మల మానస సీతా. మాధరమా భవ సాగర మీదను ఆర్థిక మంత్రిని సీత. You want to know the English translation for this?
Yeah, let's close. A lot of people didn't understand, so just read out the translation.
Yeah. In what way can you show your compassion to us, O pure-hearted Sita? It's not possible for us alone to cross this ocean of troubles, O Finance Minister Sita. You are the savior of hardworking taxpayers who enhance the wealth of the state, O Sita. Please know difficulties. The path you choose now will have a long-lasting impact. This suffering is brought on us by the virus. Why burden us, O Sita? Please help us get out of this misery, O Sita. You are looked upon by the merchant and the business community. Salutation to your beloved Sita. Please save us, shelter us, send us a relief package. Oh, Sita.
Wow.
There you go.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, dhanyavad, bahut bahut dhanyavad. And one thing I want to tell you is that I love humor a lot. And in fact, in real life, I'm very chilled out, cool, humorous person. But unfortunately, social media has put us so much into small boxes that people don't allow you. But I want to share this on this platform since it's a wonderful satsang. There are two things I want to end this with, and one of them I've learned from Mr. Hari Kiran, and second is my own learning. That is, don't fall prey to the number game. Number game will destroy you. Don't do that. I've seen many intellectuals, creative people finishing off because of the number game. They have great ideas, authors, writers, poets. They stopped writing poetry, which comes from their heart. They started writing poetry, playing to the gallery. So don't play to the gallery. If you really are interested in Indic Renaissance or seeing India as a Vishwaguru, even if you have 5 people listening to you, it means more than 5 lakh people listening to you. You know, leave an impression, express yourself, stop impressing people, which is a very, very fundamental Indian value. Your mother never tried to impress you. Your mother always expressed herself, and that's why we acquired all the values we did. So if you call it Bharat Mata, if you call it the cow your Mata, if you call everything your Mata, then learn this principle. And second thing I've learned from Hari is never be shy of being humorous. Humor in this time of crisis will help us. India has great humor. It's the British people who told us that Indians, you bloody Indians, have no sense of humor, which our journalists and authors and intellectuals kept saying again and again and again. If you really, really want to understand Indian humor, go and read a Sanskrit drama called Mrach Katikam, which was written in the era of Kalidasa. Read that. It's a story of a thief. You will not believe what a great heritage we come from. Indian Vyang and Indian humor. Keep it alive. Keep the creativity alive. Hari, please keep mentoring people. Please keep handpicking all these creative, wonderful people. Sometimes go to my timelines. Now,
Yes.
from Monday onwards, I'm only promoting indigenous creative talent of India. If you like somebody, please help them out. So on this note, thanks a lot, Hari.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
In Urban Nexus, in my preface, they said write acknowledgements. I never wrote an acknowledgement in my life. I've written one line in the end. I said, everybody in this world needs Hari. I found mine. So that is Mr. Hari Kiran. So
Thank you.
we'll
That's
again do a session.
the compliment I've ever received. Thank you so much, Vivek. Always grateful to you for that.
We'll do one more session again. Thank you, Hari.
Thank you.
Namaste. Okay, friends. So just in what? It's in about half an hour, I'm coming back with another great personality. This is something you must not miss. I'm coming back with Padma Vibhushan, one of the greatest dancers. Somebody who has done amazing work on Durga, on Draupadi, on Indian art, literature, culture, who's a fighter, a warrior who has fought from Sonia Gandhi to all the leftist artists of India and who always walked ahead, led us, keep taking the torch of Indian, Hindu civilization and culture just in half an hour. Please bring a cup of tea. I'll see you soon in half an hour in the Future of Life Festivals Weekend Bonanza. See you.